Hello, beautiful bookish people. My name is Hannah, and today I'm going to tell you why you should never eat another apple ever again.
Yep, that's me.
Do you remember that old phrase, an apple a day keeps the doctor away? Eat an apple, your mom says. It'll be good for you. Well, I'm here to tell you, don't do that. Why? Because apples literally symbolize bad omens for your life. What do I mean? Let me tell you, every time an apple appears in a novel, you literally know stuff is about to go down. Whether that be war, destruction, families turning on each other. You know, all that good stuff. And I have collected 10 examples to show you that I'm not crazy. And at the end of the video, hopefully you too will never eat another apple ever again. Let's go into my first example to show you what I mean. Metamorphosis. What do you need to know about this book? Nothing, except it's Kafka. I'm sorry. I had the displeasure of reading it in high school. Thanks, Mr. Chapman. I love you. And it's literally about a guy who turns into a random beetle. Why? I don't know. Probably symbolism that went over my head, but we're not going to talk about that right now. What we're going to talk about is how apples destroyed him. You see, after 3 days of just being a giant beetle, his family decides to turn on him
And kill him.
not with a shoe, not with a knife, but with apples. His mom comes into his room and destroys him by throwing apples at him. I don't know how you take care of bugs, but you usually call an exterminator, flush them down the toilet, or the humanitarian approach, let them out. But I have never destroyed a bug with an apple. I think that this is supposed to symbolize how if you eat an apple, your family will literally turn on you and destroy you. Thank you. Next. Now, this story is near and dear to my heart, but does that mean we should eat apples? No. So I'm going to give you a little context on the backstory of Snow White. Snow White is 7 years old. She's hotter than the evil queen. So the queen hires a huntsman to say like, hey, I need to be the hottest, go kill this girl. And being a sane, stable person, he doesn't. And the queen finds out about this and says like, fine, it's a woman's job anyway. Goes to where Snow White is hiding and doesn't give her an apple, but instead, in the original fairy tale, gives her a corset. And she tightens it so tight to where Snow White can't breathe until the dwarves come home and save her just by untightening it. The queen comes back the next day, not with an apple, but with a poison hairbrush. Sticks it in her head, boom, she died. The dwarves come back, take it out of her head, and she's okay. Not how poison works, but we'll overlook that for this video. And finally, third time's a charm, comes back with the beloved apple. And this one finally does the trick, and boom, she's dead. The dwarves can't do anything until true love's kiss and blah 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 and blah. My point is that the corsets didn't work, the hairbrush didn't work, but apples did. Truly unveiling the dastardly evil that these fruits cause. Greek mythology. We all love it. It's all great. Love you, Percy Jackson. So, in this story, imagine you're a goddess, and you're not invited to a party. You're mad about it, so what do? Go uninvited, of course. But, because you're mad, you want to start some discourse and drama. So what do? You look at your friend the apple. You create a golden one that says, for the fairest on it. Go to the Olympus. You say, what's up, Zeus? How's it been, Hades? Throw this apple in the middle of everyone's fun. Then you see, Aphrodite wants it, Athena wants it, even the goddess of the hunt wants it. And insults are flying, prides are hurt, and boom, before you know it, we're at war, people. The Trojan War. So I think that symbolizes that apples literally cause war. Apples are the reason for humanity's destruction. Twilight. As we can see, there are apples on the cover, which I think symbolizes that this book is bad. Next. Adam and Eve. Possibly the classic of all classic examples of how apples have been screwing with our lives since the beginning of time. If you don't know the story, Adam and Eve are in paradise. They're living their best life, and all they have to do is not eat from the tree of knowledge, which is what? Apples. And after temptation comes into our lives, they both partake, and boom, out of paradise, boom, hardcore labor, boom, now we get to experience childbirth. So, as we can see, apples have been messing with our lives from just the beginning. And I think we need to take warning from them that we should never eat them ever again. And also, maybe we shouldn't trust a snake. Going from classic example to another classic example, I would like to bring up Paradise Lost. Milton has a perfect quote that summarizes my feelings on apples. And I'll read it for you right now. "Oh, man's first disobedience and the fruit of the forbidden trees, whose moral taste brought death into the world and all our woes." I can't say it any better than Milton. Apples literally equate to death. No tea, no shade, just facts. You thought the apple trope was just for Greek mythology? Oh, no. Apples and their threats on humanity spread worldwide. Let me tell you with this example of Norse mythology. As we know, Loki, he's a trickster. And one day he goes out hunting with the Asgard Bros. And they can't find anything to eat. So Loki tries to kill this eagle, who is magical, unbeknownst to him. Because Loki tried to kill him, the eagle takes him by the legs and brings him all the way up high and says, like, "Listen, if you want to live, you better get me one of those golden apples of immortality that you own." And Loki's like, I don't want to die, so okay. So he goes home, steals an apple, gets people kind of suspicious. Loki steals one of the golden apples of immortality, tries to take it to the eagle. But we all know Loki's a trickster. So he tricks the eagle into flying into this flame trap, and it kind of kills him. But because Loki stole one of these golden apples, he is exiled from Asgard. So as we can see from this example, is that apples cause discourse with your family, with your relationship, and causes you to be lonely for eternity. My next example is Fahrenheit 451. This is a dystopian novel where reading and books are against the law. I can hear booktube shaking. In this book, there are firefighters, but there are firefighters that don't put out fires, but instead burn books. And as I was doing my research for this, guys, I could not believe that the firefighters literally eat an apple before they are about to burn books. I don't know about you guys, but it's pretty scary. If you eat an apple, possibly all of your book collection will be caught on fire. Example number 9, Fantastic Mr. Fox. This is an animated movie, but in the beginning of it, Fantastic Mr. Fox stupidly eats an apple. What happens? He gets put in a cage, which starts the whole film. Obviously, if you don't want to be trapped in life, don't eat apples. And my last example is fitting because it's called Death Note. This is about a guy who is top of his class. He's a very smart guy who stumbles upon a notebook that is titled Death Note. And we discovered that if you put anyone's name in it, they die shortly after. After we've discovered this, an angel of death comes down to explain the rules to our main character. And as he is deciding whether or not he wants to keep it or destroy it, you know what his mom brings him? Not crackers, not goldfish, not even Oreos, but a bowl of apples. I can't make this up. And as we know in that series, there's a lot of killing, a lot of destruction, all because I would like to blame apples. So that concludes My 10 examples of why no reader should ever eat apples ever again. Because, as we can see from my examples, they cause doom. Your family will kill you. Possibly, you might exile, and worst of all, your books will burn. This is no joke. I'm not kidding. So please, heed my warning. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Keep reading and all that jazz. Every time an apple appears in a book, Adam and Eve are told, don't eat apples, but bananas. Let me start over. I think that one was the best one. Going from classic example, all your book collection will be